Joining us now to talk more about the report is Vecchio, Republican strategist and attorney, and Richard Painter, former chief White House ethics lawyer with the George W. Bush administration. Gentlemen, we thank you both for joining us. The Justice Department defending the AG's 4-page summary here, calling them bottom line findings until a redacted report could be released. Is the DOJ just in damage control mode here? What do you think?
No, nothing's going to change with this at all. Robert Mueller chose not to prosecute. Specifically, he chose not to prosecute anything that has to do with so-called Russian collusion. He specifically, very specifically found that there was no conspiracy to commit crimes between the Russian government and anybody involved with the Trump campaign. Number two, he actively chose to decline prosecution on obstruction of justice. People are twisting this up and making it sound like, well, he said he didn't exonerate and he said that he exonerated, and they're mixing these terms up. Those terms don't mean anything. He chose not to prosecute. Then William Barr, who's his boss, said that there was no obstruction of justice. It's over.
Richard, is it over?
No, it's not over until we see the report. It's a 400-page report. It's a report that details everything Robert Mueller could find about the Russian infiltration of our election. Dozens of Russians were indicted. There was serious criminal activity. We are entitled to see the entire report. And this is something that I remember from the Bush White House, that every single day in which you delay releasing something like this is going to do a lot of damage to the country, to the White House. We need that report out now. Furthermore, William Barr has a serious conflict of interest. He was actually drafting memos for the defense lawyers before he went into the Justice Department. He was working with the defense lawyers, writing memos on the Mueller investigation. He apparently even met with Donald Trump, who was considering hiring him as a private lawyer to represent him in the Mueller investigation.
Hey,
he should have recused from this to begin with.
Mistake, hype, mistake, and hype, Richard. This is case closed against Donald Trump. It's case closed against his campaign.
No,
the only thing left. No, it is not. This is all hype about what can come out in this report.
Where's the report?
Where's the report? He chose not to prosecute. Mueller chose not to prosecute.
Show
You're not hiding anything.
Report.
You're
a law.
Look, you're a law
scream
professor.
all you want.
Let me jump in right here, gentlemen.
The report.
All right, let me jump in here for a second, gentlemen. The report, in whatever form it comes out, redacted, unredacted, I don't think anybody thinks that there's going to be an unredacted version of the report at this point. But let's talk about what the president did today. He went on Twitter, went on the attack today to talk about the New York Times report, which said that some of Mueller's investigators didn't properly convey just how damaging the findings were. You're saying there is nothing that's damaging in there without actually seeing the context of the full report. So what do you think specifically they're referring to?
I can answer this so squarely and easily that, number one, it's all anonymous sources. I don't believe anonymous sources. I want to hear who's saying what. Number two, sorry, but I really don't believe much of what the Washington Post and the New York Times say these days. But assuming arguendo that there are people in the Mueller team who are complaining about it, it's a big nothing. Because the report squarely concludes that there was no conspiracy to commit crimes with the Russian government, and it also concludes no obstruction of justice. Now, he's a law professor, Richard Painter. I'm the author of some of the best-selling legal books in the country. We're both lawyers. I'm a former judge. He's a former ethics counsel for the White House. And
I don't care about your credentials. I want to see the report. I just want to see the report. I don't care about you think you're a big shot. I want to see the Mueller report.
I'm lobbing a few favorable things towards you because you're dead wrong.
I don't care. It's not about me. Who cares about me? Who cares about you?
I'm trying to make you sound better because I'm trying to make you sound better because your arguments make no logical sense.
So the bottom line here, gentlemen, both of you.
Report like every other American.
The bottom line right now is that there's so much speculation as to what could be in the full report. Richard, I'll ask you the same question I asked Ken. What could this potentially damaging material that some of Mueller's investigators were talking about, unnamed investigators at this point, what could this potentially damaging information be?
I don't know. I got to read the report. All I know is the president's national security advisor has been found guilty. All I know is the president's campaign manager, guilty. The president's deputy campaign manager, guilty. Even the coffee boy, guilty.
News. We all know that. There's nothing in it that's going to be damaging to the president.
Even the president's lawyer. Well, you want to talk over me? I just want to read the report. I don't need to hear a bunch of blabbing.
I'm not arguing.
Read the report.
If you didn't
see the report.
If you didn't stop the same dribble in the talking points, you could hear me say this. Everybody wants to see the report.
I want to read the report.
I want to see the report too.
What are they hiding?
I'm trying to tell you this.
Why don't they show it to us?
Under the law, why I was extolling virtues about your background is because under the law, you should know that the Attorney General is not legally allowed to turn over anything that has to do with the grand jury transcripts, so we're not going to see all of the report.
That's a small part of the report. He can turn over the rest to the United States Congress.
Unless
he
you're
can
saying
keep
that
out what's
Mueller's
going to the grand jury.
Unless you're saying that Mueller's lying and Barr is lying, there's not going to be anything damaging to the president or anybody else's campaign.
I want to see if I can get you to both agree on something here. By all accounts, would you agree that the Attorney General was under an immense amount of pressure, one way or the other, to release something? Because some might say, with the Democrats in Congress, that he was really just damned if he did and damned if he didn't.
I'll answer in one sentence. Yes, he was under pressure, and he did the right thing by writing a summary. His summary is obviously the truth because he's not going to put his neck on the line and write something that's false in that manner. That's absurd to think otherwise. There's nothing in this report,
Richard, very quickly.
Well, he should have recused to begin with. He was working for the defense when he was in the private sector. He's working with the defense lawyers. He never should have participated in this.
Everybody has their opinion.
Both of you are going to have to leave it there. Ken Del Vecchio, Richard Painter, thank you so much.